Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're all having a good day so far. Today, quite a few years overdue, I am finally getting started on Hollow Knight. 5 years ago, I began my streaming journey with this game. I attempted this game's permadeath mode, and as we all know by now, because I've said it many times, I died. Yeah, right at the end of the first stream, right as I was getting to a point that I wanted to wrap up, and the whole run ended, and yeah, that was that. I reattempted it for my anniversary a year later, and, well, I beat my record, because within half an hour, I died. And then I've not streamed the game since, which, it's a real shame, because Hollow Knight is, it's in my, it's in my big three of games. Like, when it comes to my favourite games ever, it's a very hard question for me to answer, but there tends to be 3 games that I gravitate towards more than most. Obviously, one of those is Xenoblade X, one of those is Pikmin 3, and then the other is Hollow Knight. But there is a reason that I've kind of been putting off doing it these last few years. Well, there's 2 reasons, really. One of the reasons is mainly just because for a Metroidvania, it's quite big, and with all the Xenoblade stuff I've had going on, there really hasn't been a good opportunity to try and fit it in. But the other reason is to do with the elephant in the room with regards to this game. And that is Silksong. Obviously, it's still not out, 6 years after it was revealed. And the Hollow Knight community is not in a good state at the moment. It's not all of it. Not all of it is bad. But it is not the nicest place to be at the moment. There is a lot of toxicity. And to be honest, I kind of just never really wanted to deal with that on stream. I didn't want to have just some random come in and start ranting about how Team Cherry are awful people and we shouldn't support the game and blah, 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 all that. So I want to address this now out of the way before I get into the game. I'm not going to not talk about the Silksong situation, but it's not something that I'm going to keep bringing up. I don't want to dwell on it too much. I don't want to deal with that, basically. I don't want to deal with all that negativity. I want to focus on Hollow Knight, the first game, because it is a fantastic game. They did a really, really good job with it, and it's such a shame to see its community dissolve into such a just toxic echo chamber. That is such a shame, because when I first got the game and I first joined in the community, it was so welcoming, so friendly, and it's just kind of not anymore. And they kind of now just invade other places, like they go into a Nintendo Direct and spam "Where's Silksong" and all that, and it's just like, guys, come on. So, yeah, I'm going to be trying to avoid talking about that as much as I can. I think I'll talk about Silksong when it's relevant, so when a certain character shows up, or if I want to talk about a mechanic I'd like to see, I'll talk about that sort of thing. But for the majority of the series, nah, I ain't going to be talking about it. That doesn't mean that you guys can't. Like, if you feel it's relevant and you want to talk about it, I'm not going to stop anyone. You know, I'm not going to, like, thought police my chat, even though it's tempting sometimes. But yeah, that is the spiel that I wanted to get out of the way, and I feel like I'm at a weird point with this topic where I feel like I've said everything that I have to say, but I feel like I've not wrapped it up, and I'm just going to keep rambling, and I feel like I do that with most topics anyway, so let's just move on. Why couldn't they go the way of Pikmin, where they just went insane in a funny way? Exactly. Like, the Pikmin community has had a longer wait, honestly, and they just kind of went mad, and it was funny, whereas the Hollow Knight community just went, like, yeah. Right, okay, this is going to be a regular run. I'm not going to be doing Steel Soul. I've learnt my lesson. When I'm relying on showing off the entire game, permadeath is not how you go about doing that, because mistakes, they do happen, especially when you're recording. Oh, I forgot the poem came first. In wilds beyond, they speak your name with reverence and regret. For none could tame our savage souls, yet you the challenge met. Under palest watch you taught we changed. Base instincts were redeemed. A world you gave to bug and beast, as they had never dreamed. From Elegy for Hallownest by Monomon the Teacher. Welcome everyone to Hollow Knight. I hope you enjoyed that opening cutscene because it really tells you absolutely nothing. I like it quite a lot. I think there's some nice animation there. I think that shot of the knight overlooking that town in the distance is a really, really nice shot. However, if you're coming into this game hoping for a massive story-driven experience, you are coming into the wrong game. There is a story here. There is a lot of lore, and honestly, it's really deep. Like, I know most of the general outline and the main beats, but there's a lot of really, really small details that even I don't know about, and I am like a super fan of this game. I want to let the game speak for itself. So, if there's something interesting that you might miss, I might, indicate towards it, but I'm not going to be attempting to explain what's going on as we go. Because that's not how you would experience this game on your first playthrough anyway. You'd experience it, kind of be like, okay, I think I sort of get what's going on. And then you'd maybe play it again and start to think about it some more, and start piecing it together a little bit more. And then you'll be like, I don't want to play it a third time just to piece together the lore. I'll go watch a big YouTube video. And then you'll find a guy called Mossbag who will explain it all for you in extensive detail in a really entertaining way. Definitely, if you're interested in the story of this game, go check out his videos, because he's entertaining, he's really funny, he's got like quite a sarcastic sense of humour. I really, really enjoy it, but it's also really, really informative as well. He presents the game and the lore really, really well. So anyway, this is... I forget the name of this area. It is not really that important, it's just our opening tutorial area. We can do two things. We can slash our sword, /nail. It's technically a nail because we are bugs, but, I might just call it a sword sometimes because it's easier on the brain. And we can also jump. And I quite like how the jump controls in Hollow Knight. It's a little bit different to how it feels in other games, and it took me a little while to get used to it at first. But now that I know what I'm doing with it, honestly, I kind of prefer this over some other games. I feel like I can get some really, really precise jumping going on with this. Of course, you can also directionally influence your smashes. Not smashes, slashes, but I was just about to make a joke about Smash Brothers, so that's why that was on my brain. Let's grab some money over here. This money is called Geo. You might recognize it because it's what my channel points are named after, and it's the icon that I used for them. I took the sprite straight from this game. Oh, gotta watch out for the stalactites. Higher beings, these words are for you alone. Your great strength marks you amongst us. Focus your soul, and you shall achieve feats of which others can only dream. So, you collect soul by striking enemies. Once enough soul is collected, you can hold A to focus soul and heal. So this is basically a mana system, effectively. And it rewards you being quite aggressive. You get more the more you hit enemies and the more you fight. But also it's a bit riskier because, obviously, the more you fight and the more aggressive you are, the more likely you are to get hit. Hollow Knight combat is basically balancing that aggressiveness while threading the needle and trying not to get hit. It's hard. There are some really hard fights in this game, but once you get good at it, oh my god, it's satisfying. Does the intro here give you more or less than Metroid 1's? Defeat the Metroid of Planet Zebeth and destroy the Mother Brain. It gives you less, because that at least gives you an objective. We don't have an objective yet. We are just currently wandering through the world. A mysterious voice cried out, and that is it. That is all we know. We don't know where we're going. We don't know why we're going there. We just are. The amount of times I got hit by all of the stalactites on my first playthrough, yeah, I'm kind of conditioned to remember where most of them are now. You can also hit them and deflect them, which is pretty cool. That's what I just did there. Okay, I want to go over this way because this is a pretty cool mechanic. This is known as Lifeblood. So you pop the cocoon, try and kill as many of the blue guys that come out as possible, and the more you kill, the more extra hearts you get. You can't heal these, so once you lose these, that's it, they're gone. You're going to have to go and find another cocoon. They're nice, they're a nice extra, but I don't like to rely on them if I can avoid it. Okay, we've fallen. That was a one-way drop. So, there are spikes down here. You remember that I mentioned you could directionally influence your nail slashes? Well, there's a bit of a consequence to that. And then when you combine that with the fact that when you hit stuff, you get knocked back ever so slightly, you might start piecing some things together. So if there's one thing that the best Metroidvanias are known for, it's allowing you to sequence break and do things in a way the developer, at least initially, maybe didn't intend. Sometimes the sequence breaks are just full-on bugs and stuff like that. Sometimes they're mechanics the developers have put in that had a lot more utility than they maybe initially wanted, and then thought, you know what, we'll actually leave that in. So, the sequence of thoughts you might have here are: I can aim my slashes. I can jump. Can I slash in midair? Yes, I can. What happens if I swing downwards? And what happens is you bounce off enemies, obstacles, pretty much anything, really. This is what the community refers to as a pogo. And with this skill, if you know what you're doing, I wouldn't say that you can break the game in half, but you can do a lot of things early. You can get yourself into some really, really tricky situations, and then you can get yourself out of them. Pogoing is simple. Once you learn to do it, you will never not be able to do it. It's a lot easier than, say, bomb jumping or wall jumping in Metroid. But the game doesn't tell you about it right away. People might not think to try it. And by doing it, you can come down here and get something a little early, which is pretty cool. Higher beings, these words are for you alone. Within our lands, do not hide your true form. Let's all bask in your majesty, for only this kingdom could produce one such as you. Relevant redeem to pogoing. It basically is the pogo from DuckTales. Like, it pretty much is just that. And I think Team Cherry did say that DuckTales was one of the games that inspired them, so it does make a lot of sense. Anyway, in here, we have something pretty important. We have our first charm, Fury of the Fallen. I will talk about charms in a little bit. For now, just remember that we have that. And then this little detour will take me back down to where I was, so I am going to have to do a little bit of retreading the path I just took here, but honestly, it doesn't take that long. All the enemies stay dead, so it's barely an inconvenience, really, unless I fall off, which is a little bit embarrassing. Okay, I've got another shot at this now. I can slip into there and get some money. Nice. Money is very, very important in this game. You want to collect as much of it as you can. There are so many things that you can buy. Alright, let's get out of here. Higher beings, these words are for you alone. Beyond this point, you enter the land of King and Creator. Step across this threshold and obey our laws. Bear witness to the last and only civilization, the Eternal Kingdom, Hallownest. Okay, here's a big door. It's time to cut the damn thing down. Takes a lot of hits to do this. But we're a lot stronger than we look. And now there's no going back. We're in Hallownest proper. The game begins. Welcome to Dirtmouth, the fading town. And I'd like you guys to listen to this music. I absolutely adore Dirtmouth's music. Christopher Larkin, this game's composer, is a goddamn genius. He went from being someone I'd never heard of to one of my favourite composers of all time. Not every track in this game stands out. There's a lot of just kind of atmospheric ones, but the ones that do, oh my god, they are all so good. And what I like about Dirtmouth in particular is that I feel like it evokes completely different feelings depending on how far into the game you are. When you start, it feels like this really melancholic, somber piece. This is this quiet, dead town. Everyone is gone, there's only one person left, and I feel like it sets the tone for the game really well. But then later on in the game, when you come back, it feels a lot more calm and relaxing, and it feels like you're coming home to somewhere safe and familiar. And the fact that he's able to get those two similar but distinct vibes together, and that the game kind of swaps between them without changing the track at all, I think that works really well. I think he did a fantastic job with this theme. Anyway, this is the town's only resident. This is the Elderbug. I do not care what kind of fancy speedrun you are doing. I don't care if it jeopardizes your world record. If you come through Dirtmouth and you don't talk to Elderbug, you are a bad person, because he will actually react to you if you just walk past him without talking to him, and he actually gets a little sad face, and it's so heartbreaking. Don't do that to Elderbug. Elderbug is sweet. Ho there, traveller. I'm afraid there's only me left to offer welcome. Our town's fallen quiet, you see. The other residents, they've all disappeared, headed down that well, one by one, into the caverns below. Used to be there was a great kingdom beneath our town. It's long fell to ruin, yet it still draws folks into its depths. Wealth, glory, enlightenment. That darkness seems to promise all things. I'm sure you two seek your dreams down there. Well, watch out. It's a sickly air that fills the place. Creatures turn mad and travellers are robbed of their memories. Perhaps dreams aren't such great things after all. Hey, Blunter, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a good day. Right. This is one of Hollow Knight's most important mechanics. This is a bench. It does a lot of things, but first and foremost, this is your checkpoint. If you come to a bench, the game will save. However, every enemy that you've killed will respawn. So there's a bit of risk versus reward here. You want to use the bench because you want the checkpoint, but if you're going through a difficult area, it might respawn some enemies that you're going to have to deal with again that you might not want to deal with again. So you've got to consider that before sitting at a bench. What you can also do at a bench is equip charms. So charms are basically like equipable upgrades, basically. They're not like full permanent new moves, but they augment your existing abilities in various different ways. There's lots of different builds and interesting things that you can do. However, you are limited by the number of notches that you have. Currently, I have 3, and each charm has a cost tied to it. It will take up that number of notches. At the moment, I only have this specific charm. This is Fury of the Fallen. Basically, it's one of those mechanics where you deal more damage when you're at one hit from death. I don't tend to use this a lot. Like, I'm good at the game, but I'm not good enough to consistently not get hit that I can fight bosses at 1 HP. But for speedrunners and people who are really, really good at the game, this is one of the best charms in the game. Since I have nothing else, I am going to equip it, but I'm not going to rely on it. It's just going to be one of those things where if it comes up, I will use it. Otherwise, I won't worry about it too much. You like how the prompt to talk to the Elder said listen and not talk? Yeah, so our main character, as you can see, he does not have a mouth. He cannot talk. So you can't talk to people, you just listen to them. For all your mapping supplies, we will be open soon. Iselda and Cornither. Anyway, Elderbug said everyone was going down into the well, so that seems like a good place to go. Now this game is a Metroidvania, so like many Metroidvanias, the path that you actually want to go is to the left here. However, once I've got that treasure down there, I'm going to be going right because there's something that I'd like to show off. Anyway, this is the Forgotten Crossroads, the first area in the game, and I think this one is... It's okay. I think it does a good job introducing how the game works and most of the mechanics, but it is very grey down here. The music is quite atmospheric and not very memorable. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think this game builds up to its first really notable area really, really well with the Crossroads. Like, the Crossroads are basic, but they set the tone for the game. They kind of give you an idea of what to expect. We have some more involved enemies here. They take a few more hits to kill. He has no mouth, but must he scream? Well, he has no voice to cry if he's suffering. We'll never know if he's suffering. Anyway, over here is a very important looking building. This is the Temple of the Black Egg. And this might look very familiar to people who are paying attention during the opening cutscene. I'm not going to say what this place is, but if you've played a game from this genre before, you can probably work out what this room is and why it's important. Anyway, there's a guy here. Hello. Hello there. How delightful to meet another traveller on these forgotten roads. You're a short one, but you've a strong look about you. I'm Quirrell. I have something of an obsession with uncharted places. This ancient kingdom holds many fascinating mysteries, and one of the most intriguing of them is standing right before us. A great stone egg lying in the corpse of an ancient kingdom. And this egg, is it warm? It certainly gives off a unique air. Can it be opened? There are strange marks all over it. I do so love a mystery. And who knows what other marvels lie even deeper below us. I love Quirrell. He's one of my favourite characters. He's just got this curiosity to him that I kind of really connect with. I feel like when I play games, I tend to be quite curious. I tend to go into every little nook and cranny that I can just to explore and see what there is. And that's very much what Quirrell is all about here. He has a specific goal. He doesn't necessarily know what that goal is yet. So he's kind of just letting his curiosity carry him through the kingdom. Anyway, let's keep going to the right. Might as well do a full loop on myself here, just to show off a little bit more of this area. I don't think there's too many goodies this way, but, you know, I might, you know, I want to check. So this is going to be a fairly complete run. I'm going for not 100%, but 107%. The 7 I will explain when it becomes relevant. I don't really have a guide or a plan for this, though. I'm kind of just relying on memory here, hoping that I remember where most things are. I think I've got a pretty good idea where most things are. I think I remember most of it. But, you know, I might need to do a little bit of a clean-up lap towards the end. Oh, good? What do you mean, oh, good? Are you saying my memory can't be trusted? Oh, this guy. This is a big guy. I died a lot to this guy on my first playthrough. He hits very hard. And he's got shockwaves as well. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear. That didn't go very well. Imagine 100%ing a Metroidvania. Well, I'm OCD. I can't not. I have to do it. Right, the key to this guy is taking advantage of the range on your nail. The range on it is a little deceptive. It hits a lot further than you'd think it would. So if you take advantage of that, you can actually get away from his swings quite easily. Oh. There we go. Anyway, here is our first of many collectibles. This is a grub. He's just a cute little guy sitting in a jar, and you've got to let him out. And he's very grateful for it. He's very adorable. I fucking love the grubs. They're so cute. They do a grub plushie, and I want to get one so bad. I want all of them. I just want all of the grubs just like on a shelf over there, so you can see them all. I think that'd be really cute, and I want to do that. So if you know, it's my birthday in a few months, so if anyone wants to send me anything, I'd accept a grub. I'm kidding. You don't have to send me anything. I've got more money now. I can probably buy my own grub. Right, I'd like to go this way as well. There's someone over here that I'd like to show off. Because while a game like Metroid is all about isolation, and Hollow Knight definitely is to an extent, there are a lot of characters in this game, and they all have their own unique charm to them. And I want you to listen to this lovely lady over here for a second. Isn't she adorable? Isn't she just the sweetest little thing? This is Myla. Oh, bury my mother, pale and slight. Bury my father with his eyes shut tight. Bury my sisters 2 by 2. And then when you're done, let's bury me too. Do you know that one? It's one of my favourites. We can sing something else if you like. You start singing and I'll join in. I bet you have a beautiful singing voice. So, what are you down here for? If you came to get wealthy, just look around you. These mines are still bursting with riches. There's plenty for everyone. Just grab a pick and join in. I love Myla. Myla is adorable. And nothing bad will ever happen to her. Because I will ensure that that is so. I will protect her. So this thing here is what's known as a soul totem. You hit it, you get soul. It's pretty basic. They will recharge when you sit at benches, I believe. So you don't want to over-rely on them in case you need them later. So don't just walk up to them and hit all of them right when you can. But if you need them, they're there. The ground here looks a little unstable. I wonder what's going on with that. Anyway, back to where I'm actually meant to be going. Okay, I believe down here... Yes, we have a locked door. I am remembering correctly. I should hope so, I've played this game enough bloody times. But yeah, this game for me really did just become a staple of my gaming library. Like, I have a few select games that I consider, like, my replayables. They're the games that I come back to all of the time. And Hollow Knight just very quickly shoved its way into that group. It's why I actually haven't played Super Metroid as much over the past few years compared to how I used to when I was younger, because I just ended up playing Hollow Knight instead. Metroid Dread started to reclaim Metroid's place, and I do play that game a lot as well. But I feel like I still play Hollow Knight more. Not that Metroid is worse than Hollow Knight. You know, I still adore Metroid. I think it does what it sets out to do really, 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 really well. But Hollow Knight just has a lot of other areas that it shines in. It manages to, like, crawl out of the shadow that Metroid casts over the Metroidvania genre. It just feels really unique. And it's got its own thing going on. And, yeah, I mean... I should be saving all of these thoughts for, you know, the end of the series. There's plenty more game to play. These guys are really annoying. They jump around a lot, and it can be quite hard to predict where they're actually going to land. What's a replayable game? Yeah, you wouldn't know about that, would you? Okay, I can take care of him from under the platform. Okay, here we go. I remember this particular grub very well. So, as you can see, this is a pretty big jump. You can't make that. They intend for you to come back here with one of a few later power-ups, but I'm going to show you the power of the pogo. So, I would like this Vengefly to come over here, please. And then I'm going to jump and get it to follow me up there. And then hopefully it will stay in position. And then, boom, there we go. You use the enemy as a spring, basically. It took me ages to learn how to do that properly. And even now, I sometimes struggle with that. Like, on my last run, it took me about 10 tries to do that. So I'm very, very pleased that I did that first try. I was really, really worried that I was going to look like a fool trying to do that. And sometimes I do just like to flex on enemies by dropping down and pogoing on them. However, it's not safe to do that all the time. There are some enemies that are able to counter a pogo. They do have ways to deal with you doing that. So it's not completely overpowered. The only enemies that are completely destroyed by it are enemies that are pretty weak anyway, so it's not a massive deal. Right, I'd like to go up into this top left corner. Pogo-proof enemies. Yeah, kinda. You'll see what I mean. Anyway, this is the Grub Father, and he will give you rewards for every single grub that you rescue. The majority of grubs just give you money, but I believe every 5 and then later on every 10 grubs you will get a special reward, so you definitely want to come in and check in with him and see how all the little grubs that you're doing are. Because look at them all. They're so grateful. They're so adorable. I love these little guys. I can't overstate how much I love the grubs. They are... when I first started playing the game, they are what hooked me initially, because I was like, I've just got to rescue all these little guys. I can't leave them. But I guess to compare this to another game that you guys might have played, these are like your golden skulltulas from Ocarina of Time, basically. They're a collectible that's just kind of out there. The collectible itself doesn't do anything for you, but the more you get, the more rewards you get from a specified place. I will, of course, be rescuing all the grubs, because I'm not a monster. I will not be leaving any of them behind. Over that way is a way that I don't want to go just yet. In fact, I'd like to drop all the way down here. Here's another pleasant tune for you guys to listen to. This game doesn't have, like, voiced dialogue, but there's a lot of really, really charming voice lines in this, and I think all of the voice actors did a really, really good job giving character to everyone. So this is Cornifer, or the Map Man. Hello there. Come down to explore these beautiful old ruins? Don't mind me. I've a fondness for exploring myself. Getting lost and finding your way again is a pleasure like no other. We're exquisitely lucky, you and I. I'm a cartographer by trade, and I'm working on mapping this area right now. Would you like to buy a copy of my work so far? You bet I would. I love a map. A map can be a useful thing, but it alone won't show you where you are. If you've not the head for directions, I suggest purchasing a compass from my wife Iselda. She's just now opening our new map shop in Dirtmouth, selling all sorts of useful things to wanderers like yourself. She'll even sell some of my old maps from time to time. I pop back to see her whenever I finish mapping an area. She's always so excited to see me. So, the mapping system in Hollow Knight is definitely one of its more controversial elements. And I can see why. For a lot of people, I think they take mapping for granted. They like the game to just tell you where you are and where you're going. However, I quite like this system, because it forces you to actually learn the area before you rely on a map. So basically, when you first enter an area, you don't have a map. And then when you buy one from Cornifer, it's kind of just an outline, it's not complete, it doesn't show you where you've been, and it doesn't show you where you are. I'll get to the later stages as we unlock them. But for now, this is all we have. But if you've been paying attention, you can kind of see some of the rooms that I've been to. Like, you can see in the middle, on the top row there, you can see the Temple of the Black Egg. This sort of long room above where Cornifer is drawn on the map is near where the grubs were. And there's a big, scary-looking figure right in the center of the map. As you can probably guess, that is our current objective. And I like that the game doesn't spell that out directly. You kind of have to just pay attention and infer that. And I think people who aren't able to do that really struggle. because they just kind of wander around not knowing where they're going. Whereas the people who look at this and go, ah, what's that? And they're curious about it, they're able to kind of navigate their way towards it, and they really, really succeed at the game. Hollow Knight is one of those games where I adore it, and I think it's a masterpiece, but I'm never going to recommend it to just everyone, because I feel like you've really got to engage with the game and its systems. You can't just kind of go in and take it nonchalantly, and because you will just kind of hit a brick wall and not get very far with it. And I think it's okay for a game to be like that. I do think that there has been a little bit too much casualization going on in the game industry, but I don't want to gatekeep. I think at the end of the day, gaming should be for everyone. Anyone who wants to play a game should be able to. But I think sometimes there is room for a game to have a little bit of difficulty in its identity and not sacrifice that. A map? What's that? Metroid 1 players. Right, I'm going to pogo off you. These things are called gomes, and I used to hate dealing with them on my first playthrough. I was just not able to get their timing down at all. Nowadays, they're pretty easy. Okay, these guys are called aspids, and there are many, many varieties of these guys throughout the game, and one of them in particular can go suck a dick. Not this one, though. This one is fine. This one just spawns babies, and they're pretty easy to deal with. I hear a grub. There we go, grub number 3. I'm not going to be keeping track of the number of grubs, because I will lose track between streams. My memory is not very good. I was about to say my memory is not what it was, but it's never been good, so it kind of is what it was. Just what it was is awful. Alright, let's head through here. I mean, I would say the thing that allows you to see yourself on the map, I wouldn't say that's going against how to play the game properly. Like, there is a cost to using that, and I think that is part of the risk-reward of the game. But I'll get to that when we get there. I do like how they place these money piles here. You kind of go and break them to get money, and it exposes this hidden area up here. I think that's a really, really clever level design. Because you're going to be hitting that corner anyway. So you just kind of accidentally reveal a secret to yourself. Unfortunately, though, it is quite annoying to actually come down and collect the money after it spills everywhere. There's not really too much up here, though, just more money. Over here, this is a hot spring, and it will heal you and give you soul. Because hot springs give you health. Right, I would like to use that bench. Also, just the background of this room is one of my favourites in the game. I have no idea why there are a bunch of giant skulls with water coming out of them, but I think it looks really cool. Yeah, the map idea is really cool, but I get why people just kind of bounced off it sometimes. Okay, this is a regular aspid. They will just shoot projectiles rather than their own babies. I'm not going to say the name of every enemy on screen because I can't remember all of them. But the ones that I do remember, I will name. Ah, there's something up there. I don't think I can get that right now. I think even with pogoing, that one is a little bit too blocked off. Ah! Okay, gotta time my way through here. What I like to do is I like to get this guy's attention and then just get him to hit the gome because he dies. The gome kills him. Usually I do it better and don't get hit so much. Now, at some point, I do actually need to die, because there is something that I want to show off when you die. But I haven't yet decided if I'm going to deliberately die and show it off sooner, or just wait until it naturally happens. Because, like, on the one hand, it would be good to show it in the first stream, because a lot of people will see that mechanic in the first area. But also, like, I don't know, I feel like kind of just deliberately getting myself killed. It's not really in the spirit of things. I want to show off how good I am at the game, and that means not dying. I mean, to be fair, I feel like I kind of have two modes when it comes to playing this game. When I'm just wandering around, I can be fairly just relaxed and I don't really worry too much about getting hit. But then I get into a boss fight and I go into like pure just lean forward gamer mode. Oh god, this geopile is annoying. I always get hit by this one every single time. Yeah, I'm not going for those geo over there. That's not worth it. Accidentally die to something easy and then claim it was on purpose. See, I could do that now because I've planted the idea. God, my hands are getting really sweaty. I've moved the fan over to the other side of the room just so the mic wasn't picking it up. But now I'm not really getting the benefits of it, and I'm getting really sweaty. I also have my door open, which I've kind of said that I would never do while I'm streaming, because I don't know, the door's wider than a window. I didn't want people outside to hear me because I was a little bit embarrassed, but it's just a little too hot to not have it open. What are geo meant to be? Pebbles. They are, yeah, some kind of rock, I believe, because obviously geology. So I guess pebbles, yeah, that kind of works. I guess that's probably the easiest idea for what they are. See, that's what I mean. I can just be a little bit aggressive and haphazard sometimes when I'm just exploring. I really shouldn't have got hit by that, but I did. All your deaths in Sonic 1 and 2 were actually on purpose. Yeah, I believe you. I can't remember what's down this way. Ah. So you are going to start seeing these signposts a lot, pointing to some kind of structure or... what's the word I'm looking for? God, I'm really blanking. Settlement. That is the word I'm looking for. Some kind of settlement. Unfortunately, the elevator's not turned on. We can't go down. Okay. Is there anything up here? Well, there is an enemy up here, so it seems likely. By the way, I've not asked this whole stream, and we're nearly an hour into it. How is the sound balance? I'm hoping it's okay. I did do quite a lot of testing for this one just to make sure it was fine, because obviously this game is quite important to me. Sounds good. Perfect. I know, obviously it can be quite hard to tell in an area like this where there's not much music or background noise playing. Anyway, over here, we have something pretty important. Our first boss. Although I guess in this case it's more of a mini-boss. Now this one's pretty simple, so I'm going to have you guys listen to the regular boss theme. I love the boss theme for this game. It's just so goofy sounding, and I think it fits so well. Like, it could have had a really serious sounding boss theme that takes itself too seriously, and it wouldn't have fit the game. At least not for the regular fights, not for enemies like that. But instead they went with something a little sillier, and I think it works really well. So that was the Gruz mother, or the Gruz mother. People were a little bit undecided on the pronunciation of that one. I think I'm going to go with Gruz, just because it's a little bit simpler for me to say with how my voice and accent is. She's pretty simple. She has 2 moves. She just kind of launches herself at you, or she just slams into the ground a lot. However, she can be quite disorientating for new players, because her moveset is very erratic, and it is quite fast for a first mini-boss. Even me, a pro who knows how to deal with her, gets hit a few times, because it can be just quite hard to tell where she's going to be and how to time it well. I think she's, all in all, a fairly simple boss, but she's a nice little starter mini-boss just to kind of get you thinking about combat in this game. Plus, she's pregnant, and a lot of people stand by her corpse, and then they get hit when all the babies come out, and it's always pretty funny. You walked into her house and killed her. Yeah, pretty much, we did. This it's got windows, it's got a nice wallpaper. I don't know what this thing is, some kind of decoration. But she lived there, and now she's dead. And so are her children. So up here, listen to this. Those are some concerning noises coming from that place. The less said about that, the better. Let's move on. Okay, can't go into that one. I believe I can go into this one. There's a very bedazzled looking guy here. Seems to be very confused. Oro, you oaf. You wield your nail like a club. Esme, how much deeper do we have to go? Oh. What? Who are you? I see. This old village. What a strange dream to have led me down here. If you hadn't found me, I don't think I would have ever woken. I'm Sly. Usually, I live an uneventful life up in Dirtmouth. The air in these ruins doesn't agree with me, so I'd best be getting back. If you return above, come and see me. I'm probably the friendliest face left there, and I can thank you properly for your good deed. The friendliest? I don't know about that. Elderbug was pretty friendly. Don't you be dissing my boy Elderbug. Okay, and then this little path wraps around to the other side of the Gruz Mother's arena. You technically don't have to fight her. That was all completely optional. That is one thing I do really, really like about this game, is that a lot of it is optional. You don't have to do most things, really. Obviously, there's a set path, things you do have to do, but there's so many things that you would kind of just assume are things that you do have to do, and you just don't. And I like when games give you that freedom to just kind of do what you want to do. I murdered her for no reason. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you can't rescue Sly without killing her. And there are benefits to rescuing Sly. Obviously, he runs a shop. You can buy things off him. But I don't believe you ever actually have to do that. And there are other ways to reach Sly later on without killing her. So over here is a tram. It's currently not running. And I don't have a ticket anyway. Okay. I'm just really sort of realizing is there are a lot of pregnant enemies in this area. And I'm not really quite sure why that is. Because we have these guys, and then we had the Gruz Mother. It's a bit of an odd choice. How many different ways are you going to spell that, then? Oh, okay, this room. So, over here, we have a grub. But if you want to rescue the grub, you've got to be really good at pogoing. This is a good opportunity to practice early on. Or you can eat shit like that. Bugs have lots of kids. I suppose they do, yeah. But yeah, the key to pogoing is just timing, really. A lot of people, I feel, kind of panic and do it too fast. You need to have like a nice, slow, but not too slow rhythm to it. Oh, threaded the needle there, nice. I just wanted to show off. If I'd got hit there, that would have been really, really embarrassing. I like the little farting noises that enemies make when they die. It's funny. I know I'm really immature for finding that funny. But it's funny. Okay, I've always struggled with that bit. I find getting the height of my jump right there is a real challenge. Okay, you are in a really inconvenient spot. There we go. Yeah, I guess it kind of should. Like, they're quite similar in terms of the input that you need to do. So this is one of the more complicated enemies in the game. This guy has a sword and shield, or a nail and shell, to use the correct in-universe terms. He can block attacks. He can sometimes block upwards and stop you from pogoing as well. So you really kind of got to play around him. He's not that complicated. He is still fairly easy to deal with. But I like that you have to put a little bit more thought into some of these enemies. Now, the one thing that holds him back from being really dangerous is that I don't believe he can attack upwards. So you can kind of just pogo on his shell and wait until he lowers it. He wields an underwhelming Pokemon game as a weapon. Well, it's so underwhelming that when he hits you with it, the pain of how underwhelming it is causes some real damage. Anyway, I heard you, Grub. I heard you in here. I always get hit in this room just because there's not really much room to move. But I do believe that is grub number 5, so at some point I need to go back and get my reward. Not right this second, though. Because I would like to go down here. This way loops back round to one of the earlier rooms that I was in. I believe this is the room that connects to the hot spring, if I'm remembering correctly. Actually, no, I think I'm wrong about that. Either way, it's a room. It connects to somewhere that I was before. What it also connects to is this room. A toll machine with the symbol of a stag. Insert Geo. Yes. This is the one time I support paying a toll. Because the guy who receives it is absolutely worth it. Let's ring the bell. Greetings, little one. It's been an age since I last heard the ringing of a station bell. It echoed down the stagways and called me to you. I've grown stiff and tired over these many years, and I've forgotten much, but the sound of the bell will always call me back. These stagways stretch the depths of Hallownest. If you want to travel them, hail me from the platform. I will take you where you need to go. This is the last stag. He is one of my favourite characters in this game. He just feels like a friend. He just feels friendly and warm and safe. Plus, he is this game's fast travel system, and this game desperately needs a fast travel system, so he gets bonus points for that. Plus, if you don't want to ride with him, you can come and just listen to what he has to say as well. It was a long time ago, but I remember when these highways and crossroads pulsed with life. These are the paths I first carried passengers through when I was young. Those travellers are long gone, yet still I remain. Now it seems it's just you and I and the future and the furtive creatures scratching and squirming all around us. Anyway, I would like to go back to Dirtmouth real quick, because there are a couple of shops that I would like to visit. So, the Dirtmouth station does not require a toll. However, you can't reach it without finding a different station first and then fast travelling here, because you have to open this lever from inside to open the door. But now that you've opened it, it's free to use whenever you like. Let's see what Elderbug has to say. Oh, what a turn. Our shopkeep's come home. Just wandered back in. I'd hoped for a grand tale of his time below, but he seems to remember almost nothing. Maybe it was all too much for him. If you're interested in his wares, watch out. He drives a hard bargain, that one. No competition, that's the problem. It's bad for the market, not that he's complaining. Right, let's check out his shop. Hello there, Sly. Ah, hello, I knew we'd meet again. How'd you like my cozy little store? I've made myself pretty comfortable here, selling old trinkets to travellers like yourself. If you're planning a trip below, I have several items that may improve your chance of survival. So, there are lots of things that you can buy from Sly. Mask shards are effectively pieces of heart. So the little icons that represent your health, those are masks. When you collect 4 shards, you will get a new mask and you will increase your health by 1. Next up, we have a vessel fragment, which is basically the same thing, except it's for your soul. So if you collect 3 of these, you will be able to store more soul. We have a simple key. It's a key. I'm pretty sure you all know what a key does. It unlocks things. We have a few charms here that we can buy. We've got Gathering Swarm and Stalwart Shell. We have the Lumafly Lantern for 1,800 Geo. Remember this. This is important. You're going to want to be saving up your Geo throughout the early game to buy this. That doesn't mean don't spend it, but just try and find as much as you can. And then we have a Rancid Egg. So this is a pretty interesting mechanic, but we can't really engage with it yet. And it's not something that I ever really particularly use. But it's a nice option for those who will be able to take advantage of that. But again, I can't really tell you what that is until slightly later on in the game. Hey, Joe, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? No, this is not Shovel Knight. Although that is a good game. Anyway, welcome to the other shop. And it's time to meet one of the fan base's favourite characters. I want you guys to hear her voice line because it's iconic.
Bapanada.
For some reason, the Hollow Knight fan base just got attached to that line, and they say it all the time. Oh, it's a bit weird. Come to buy a map, have you? It's really my husband you should be dealing with, but what a surprise. He's headed down below. He'll pop back occasionally to deliver new maps for the store, but I do wish he'd spend a little more time up here. I've not much interest in retail myself. Now, let's see what's here for me to sell. Well, if your husband is letting you down as Zelda, I will spend the time with you instead, because, Cornifer has good taste. So, Sam was just talking about this earlier. We have the Wayward Compass. So, this is a charm that will show you where you are on the map. This is basically kind of like a stabilizer that you would have on your bike. I think it's very, very good for new players to use this, because once they've got the map, it allows them to sort of start building the connection of where they are and where on the map that is, and it allows them to start building a bit more of a mental map in their head. However, for returning players, I feel like a lot of them sometimes struggle to break out of needing this as a clutch. They feel like they need it more than they do. I feel like I've moved past needing it. Like, I feel like I can actually save the notch and get an extra charm in instead, because that is the risk of Wayward Compass. It takes up a charm slot, so if you have this equipped, chances are there's something else you're not going to be able to equip. So you've got to make that choice. And I think that can be a little bit tricky for new players sometimes. They feel like they need it, but then because they have it on all the time, they don't necessarily experiment with the charms as they should. I am going to buy this, though, just because I do want to try and show off as many of the charms as possible. We also have the Quill. This is very, very important. You should buy this now, because this is how you update your map. You can also buy a number of different markers for the maps. You can show off where benches are, where lifeblood cocoons are. The shop one is really useless because the majority of them are in the same place. You can show off where stag stations are, where hot springs are. Some interesting stuff. They're not necessarily worth buying now, but in the sort of mid-game, when you need to remind yourself where all these things are and you're exploring a larger portion of the map, they can be quite helpful. And then you also have markers that you can place down yourself. I am going to buy a set of these, just because my memory is not the best, and I'd like to remind myself where interesting things that I see are. You love the character Hollow Knight from Hollow Knight. Well, the Hollow Knight is pretty cute. The game looks too complicated. It's not that complicated. It's quite simple, really. But anyway, the quill basically will update the map whenever you sit at a bench. So as you can see, I can now actually see where in Dirtmouth I've been. Not that there's much to see in Dirtmouth. I'll show it off a bit more when we get back down to the Crossroads. I am going to equip the compass for now, just because I don't really have anything better to equip. But as you can see, I'm now on the map. And it doesn't take long to build up to that point, but I like that they kind of make you earn the ability to use a map like that. As I said, it kind of makes you think about where things are in the area a bit more, forces you to kind of learn how to navigate rather than just relying on a map. But yeah, as you can see, that map is looking a lot more filled out. And I always find that really satisfying, just seeing the map of an area I've been to and seeing everywhere ticked off. I do love that. Before I go across to the boss, though, I did spot a path that I've not been down, so I'd like to go there. Okay, oh, there we go. That connects back to where I was earlier, near the start of the area. So this room is very dark. This is why you want a lantern. So start saving that money. Or you can do what I did and you can spend it all. That also works too. Alright, let's start working my way towards this boss fight then. We've got another one of these guys. Now, if you lure this guy over here, you can kind of cheese him a little bit, but I'm not going to do that. I am going to fight him properly, because I can. But for new players, it's very important that they pay attention to how you fight this guy. Because there's a reason the game is making you fight them. You bring a light? No. Right, up here, I believe, is something that I can't do yet. Yeah. Look at all those spikes. Yeah, you're not pogoing through there. It's just not going to happen. Okay, this is a very, very big room. And it looks like it's a dead end. There's only one way to go. Up. Okay. Not to spoil the moment, but I want you guys to listen. Let's prepare. So, you know what I was saying about having a goofier boss theme for something like Gruz Mother and not immediately jumping into having a more imposing boss theme? I love that they save the more imposing boss theme for the proper boss fight. So this is the False Knight, the first true boss of the game. Kind of ironic that a False Knight is a true boss. He can be quite intimidating for new players, because while he doesn't hit harder than anything, he's very, very big and surprisingly fast for how big he is. However, you will notice he uses a very similar moveset to those big guys that we were fighting on the way here. They're essentially meant to be training wheels for him. I think he's a great first boss. He isn't particularly hard, but just because of how the fight is presented, it can make it feel harder for a new player, and it feels like they've overcome a real challenge when they beat him. I also like just how goofy he is when his face comes out. He's so cute. I love the noises that he makes. Anyway, he's still technically alive down here. Look at him. But yeah, you can also knock the boulders at him and do some damage, which is pretty fun. I didn't realise that on my first playthrough either. And it's a way to make the fight go even quicker when you're replaying the game and you're more skilled at it. And I like when games do things like that. What's quite interesting about this fight, besides everything I've just mentioned, is that if you want to, there is a way to escape the arena and just completely skip the boss fight. And when I say that, I'm not saying it's like a glitch or something. There is an actual secret hidden wall on the left wall of the boss that you can fight. You can break it. You can't fight it. You can break it, and you can just escape and not fight him, and I think that's pretty cool. Also, his weapon comes to life and just walks away after the fight. His weapon is a bug. I think that's really funny. Anyway, from him, I received the city crest. This will come in handy later, but that is not the main reward for beating this guy. The main reward is just through here. More skilled equals faster bosses is definitely something you like. I know. You are a Sonic fan, and I agree. I like when games do that. And I like when you can just hit a boss. You don't have to wait for specific openings. I think it makes boss fights a lot more engaging and dynamic that way. Like, it makes it feel like an actual fight. You're like weaving between their attacks to hit them and actually reacting to what they're doing, rather than just waiting and then hitting them when they get tired. Like, that doesn't feel like a fight. I really am not a fan of boss fights like that. Some of them are fine. There are some good ones like that, but the majority of them, yeah, no. Anyway, here's a friendly-looking fellow. This is the Snail Shaman. Oh-ho! Who is that creeping out of the darkness? My, you're looking grim. A strange, empty face and a wicked-looking weapon. Something important has drawn you down into Hallownest's corpse, but I won't ask what. Perhaps the reason you found me is because you need my help. Say no more, friend. I'm going to give you a gift. A nasty little spell of my own creation. It's just perfect for a little one like you. Oh ho ho ho! Okay, here we go. Our first proper upgrade. Usually, it would take me a lot less time to get here, but I'm also kind of talking a lot as well, so that's slowing me down a little bit. I can usually get to this point in about half an hour, maybe 20 minutes. Anyway, I have consumed the Vengeful Spirit. Tap A to unleash the spirit. Spells will deplete soul, replenishing soul by striking enemies. So yeah, this is our first spell. There is a bit of a very simple magic system to this game. Basically, like with many things in this game, it's risk versus reward. Do you use the Vengeful Spirit and get a lot of damage off on an enemy or a boss, or do you save your soul so you can heal yourself if you get hit? You've really got to think about that in fights, and I love that element of the game. I love risk versus reward and having to plan out the fight and think about what you're doing. It just makes it a lot more engaging than just like hitting and dodging. Not that hitting and dodging is bad, that is obviously the core of the gameplay, but I like that there's extra elements on top of that. Anyway, I got a power up, but I've also been locked up. Oh ho, you've woken at last. I apologize. Perhaps I should have warned you about the power of that spell. I was watching over you as you slept, but seemed to have slipped away myself. Oh. Now we're awake, I was wondering whether you would do me a small favour. Not as repayment for my gift, of course, simply because we're now friends. You see, a horrid great beast has made its home in the heart of this temple. Such disrespect. I would be quite grateful if you were to venture deeper in and slay it for me. It's a hardy creature, but with your new power, you're more than a match for it. Good luck with this small favour, my friend. Well, I don't appreciate my friends locking me up after they've given me a gift. That feels not so friendly. So yeah, the Vengeful Spirit, I feel like a lot of new players tend to not use it because they like to hang on to their soul to heal. But it's very, very powerful. And better players of the game do tend to spam it quite a lot. Because really, soul you can get quite quickly. As long as you're playing aggressively, and you're not getting hit too much, you should never really run out of soul. Especially since the game gives you a lot of tools to make getting soul easier. And we will actually be coming up on one of those very, very soon. Now, these enemies are quite fun. These are called boulders. Unfortunately, they don't have a gate. Basically, they will just roll up into a ball and roll themselves at you, and you've got to knock them away. Oh, or you can knock them down onto another level like that. That's also valid. Okay, there's a soul totem there, but I'm going to hang on to that for now. And get a few vengeful spirits in here. Oh. Could you say they grow small and round? I guess you could say that, yeah. They are also blue. So if you want to draw some parallels there, you know, you can. Right, this lifeblood can't run from me. I'll take the soul as well. Nice. Because down here is the big one. And this guy, you can't hit with your nail. He will just hide away if you try to do that. So you've got to get some distance and then hit him with a Vengeful Spirit. Alright, Sam, see you in a moment. He doesn't take too many to go down. He's a fairly quick fight. He's not really a boss. You were more referencing iffy translation in Metroid 1 another M. Oh. Yeah, that went over my head. Anyway, we get another charm here. This is Soul Catcher. This is honestly one of the best charms in the game. I think new players should just have this equipped all of the time because it will make their life so much easier. Oh, so it's done then. You've slain the beast. The poor thing. It must have been terrified of you. It used to be quite docile, but the rancid air in these caverns filled it with some ancient rage. Still, you did what had to be done. You have my gratitude. Of course, we both know you wouldn't have made it through without that spell of mine. Oh. Yeah, so why didn't you kill it then? And look, the gate between us has opened. Oh. I'm sure you're eager to move on. Farewell and have faith. Whatever you are seeking, it will find you. Oh. Yeah, I don't trust you, mister. Anyway, let's put this new charm on. So, basically what Soul Catcher does is, it's quite simple. It just increases the amount of soul that you get from enemies. But it's a pretty substantial upgrade. I would say it's very, very noticeable. And I would recommend all new players to just have this on all of the time. Because it's just good. It's just good to have it. It's just very powerful. And even a lot of really, really good players use it consistently throughout their builds. Hollow Knight speedrunners do tend to gravitate towards spell builds just because the DPS output is a lot higher. I don't tend to as much. I do kind of like just getting up close and aggressive with my nail. There's a few different strats that I like to do that aren't necessarily optimal, but I find them fun. But I can't really get into that until I actually get further into the game and get more charms. Right, I have rescued 5 grubs, so I would like to go see the grub father. Hello! How are you, my little guys? And here we go, my first proper reward. It is a soul fragment, or is that a mass shard? I can't remember. It's a mass shard. It was a 50-50 shot. Oh, I love coming to see the grubs. Oh, there's one back there. You can barely see him. And there's the 5th and final one that I've rescued. They're just so happy. They're so grateful for what you do for them. And I love that. Oh, ow. So many. Really? Not yet. You know, there are many, many more to go. The Pilgrim's Way. Travellers of Hallownest, descend through verdant wilds and fungal groves to the city at this kingdom's heart. There all wishes shall be granted, all truths revealed. So there we go, we actually finally have something of a main objective. There's a city to reach, and apparently if we get there, our wish will be granted. I like that they kind of give you your first main objective just really subtly here. You can just sort of walk past it and not even realise. And I think that's pretty fun. Right, so this pathway would have been blocked off before you got the Vengeful Spirit because this boulder is blocking the way. Okay, one more hit. If you could give me a baby, please. Thank you. Boom, nice. I do find the boulders a little bit annoying to deal with. They're not, like, massively difficult, but you do kind of have to juggle a couple of things at once, and the small boulders themselves can be a little bit annoying to deal with, even without the big one there spitting at you. Anyway, for those people who say that this game has no colour, look at all this green. Green is a nice colour. I've got some music that I'd like you guys to listen to. Welcome to Greenpath. Greenpath is where I fell in love with Hollow Knight for the first time. I was enjoying the game up until now. I was liking the gameplay, even though the visuals did lack a bit of colour. I thought they looked nice. I thought they had a nice style to them, but it hadn't quite fully got its claws into me. And then I got here. The visuals helped, having all this new colour on screen that wasn't there before. But what really sold me on this area was the music. The music here is absolutely gorgeous. It is one of my favourite tracks in the game. It's one of my favourite tracks in all of gaming. It just has this sense of mystery and wonder and beauty and tranquility to it, and it's just really soothing and relaxing to listen to. And I feel like after an hour of being in the Crossroads where you don't really have music, you just kind of have this atmospheric little jingle in the background, it's really, really nice to come somewhere with a more involved and just beautiful piece of music like this. I feel like they build up to Greenpath really, really, really well. There is also something else about the music here that is pretty cool. So, Hollow Knight has a bit of a dynamic music system. Whenever you get into fights, a more upbeat version, more sort of upbeat, dramatic version of the music will kick in, and Greenpath's is spectacular. It's going to be quite hard to show it off while I'm fighting enemies, because those fights don't tend to last very long, but there is a specific part of the area later on that permanently has that version of the music on, so I'm going to try and make sure we can get to listen to that at some point. You guys heard it on the title screen anyway, so it's not like you won't go without hearing it. Question, because you can't remember, does this game use the right stick at all, or is it just the D-pad and buttons? So, I can move with the D-pad, I can move with the left stick, and I can look upwards with the right stick. So to answer your question, yes, it does use the right stick. There are some little birds here, and these do technically count as enemies. They don't damage you, but you can kill them if you want to. There's no reason to, but you can. Which I think is pretty mean. The actual enemies here are a little bit more involved than the ones in the Crossroads. You've actually got to time when you attack them because they've got these explosions that they can kick out. And there's also acid, so don't do what I just did and fall into it. They also explode when they die, which is something that's caught me off guard more than I would like to admit. You probably could play it with your Saturn controller. Like, looking up and down is nice. There are certain situations where being able to look down at where you're falling is handy, but it's certainly not necessary. Did not mean to Vengeful Spirit there. Right, I don't think there's anything down there, is there? No. It's just you and me then, friend. Oh, God. Ah! I forgot that you could throw yourself at me like that. It's been a long time since anyone's thrown themselves at me. It's quite sad, actually. I miss it. Alright, I'm going to stay down here while you do your thing. I can't remember if there's a goodie down there or not. I don't think there is. I think that's the way forward. I think there's actually a goodie up here. Yes, here we go. Here is one of the enemies in the game that has damaged me the most because I keep forgetting about them. It's called a Fool Eater. Because if a plant manages to hurt you, you are a fool. And that is words from the game itself. And yeah, the amount of times I've been hit by them, I am most definitely a fool. But yeah, I I just love getting to Greenpath. Every time I play this game, it's one of the first moments I look forward to. It's why I learned to just, like, speedrun the Crossroads, because I want to get to Greenpath as soon as possible. So my map has technically updated, but I don't have a map yet, so... I'm not actually going to be able to benefit from that. That was probably more just telling me about the crossroad room that I passed through to get here. That's probably on the map now. Anyway, you know how I said I wasn't going to talk about Silksong that much? Hey, Hornet! What's fucking taking so long? Where's my game? Hey, no, come back here! Always evading questions. Never answering. God damn it. Oh, these guys are fun to fight, but also really annoying. They're very fast, so your timing has to be on point. But yeah, Greenpath is just... It's so nice to look at. I feel like there are so many hidden secrets and stuff to find. It's just really engaging to explore this area. And like, I really feel like I really feel like I'm starting to make progress once I'm coming through Greenpath. Like, in the Crossroads, you do kind of just go in a big circle. Whereas here, you're just slowly descending down and exploring further. And it's a really nice feeling. There's nothing across here. Hello! Hello! Ow! God damn it. Alright, let's chop those down, make a platform for myself. Oh, hold on. Can I, Yeah, come here, come here. Come here, come here. That's it. Come here, come on. Come this way. Come this way. That's it, buddy. Ah, oh, god damn it. I thought you were just about close enough. There'll be more opportunities to do that, I'm sure. Ah, here we go. Hello, fella. How are you doing on this fine day? Never mind, I don't care. Right. Let's chop that down. And then this way is everyone's favourite cartographer. Hello, Cornifer. Isn't this a contrast from the Crossroads? Such a humid, lively place. The roads twist and turn in the most wonderful ways. I've done my best to chart the area ahead, though I must admit some of the area's inhabitants proved quite a nuisance. I would love a map, please, thank you. Look at that, we've barely explored anything. This area is huge. Right, there is a way to knock that down, and I always forget how to do it, so just give me a moment here. There we go. It's pretty simple, but I always forget that that path is there. And this poor grub often gets left behind because I forget about him. It's pretty sad, really. But like I said, no grub will be left behind. I will save every single one of them. Every single one of them. All grubs are precious. All grubs are sacred. Oh, God, can I kill two of them in one? Please. Please let this line up. Nice. Right, I'd like to go up this way. This cave has teeth. I wonder who would live in a cave with teeth. I love that they do a bit of a fake out here. They make you think you're about to fight a boss. And then he's just a guy. Tiny squib. You approach fearless. Are you a hunter, like me? Do you feel the urge inside? To stalk, to kill, to understand? Then take it. My journal, it will aid you. At first, the text may seem difficult to discern, but a learned hunter will come to understand its words. Venture the depths of this land and slay its beasts. Prove yourself worthy to bear the mark of hunter. Okay, I have taken the Hunter's Journal. So this is a new option in the menu. So what this is an enemy index. The more enemies you defeat, the more lore about them you will uncover. And I love when games do this. I love enemy indexes. They just make me really, really happy. I love being able to just look back at all of the enemies that I've fought over the course of the game. It just makes me satisfied, and I love reading about them. I love learning about all the interesting things the developers have come up with. Ow! God, I just hit my hand on my desk. That killed the moment. Right, let's return to venturing downwards. Not by landing in the spikes, Ben. That would be a problem. Alright, so we have another grub here. Okay, I completely whiffed that shot. There we go. Okay, that just connects to there. Right, let's press on and on and on. Hey, Hornet, where's Silksong? Oh, she got away again. One day she will answer my question. As a fan of this game, I deserve an answer. It's really quite rude that she's not answering, you know? I spent money on this game. That means I'm entitled to its sequel for free. How can she not understand that? Do I want to go down this way now? Yeah, there's a bench over this way that I want to grab. You don't blame her for running, to be honest. I mean, to be honest, me neither. If I saw the Hollow Knight fanbase running at me, I'd probably run the other direction as well. I'd be like, oh, fuck, not those guys. I really like these enemies here. They're called Obbles, and I think that's just a really fun name. Oh, there's a goodie here and a Fool Eater. If I get hit by one of those on stream, you have my full permission to never call me Ben again and just call me Fool. At least for the duration of this game. Okay, we've got an upper route there, but I'm not sure I can reach it yet. No, I can't. Okay. Hey, this guy is a moss charger. So called because he's a big clump of moss that charges at you. Hey, come back here. Damn it. Can I get up there now? No, still no. Okay. That's for later then. I know exactly what that is. Sometimes I'm able to get 2 hits off there. I could just use Vengeful Spirit, and I'm pretty sure it one-shots it, but I kind of don't want to. I'll do it on this one. There we go. Hornet! It's time to answer my question. No, no, come. Ah. She's too fast. Right. I don't believe I want to go up this one just yet. I think it's the next one over. If I'm remembering my way through this area correctly. There you are. Okay, I promise not to ask you about Silksong. Just at least stay and say hello. No? Oh. She doesn't want to know. She doesn't want to be my friend.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Right, gotta be careful of these spikes over here. These are weird because they're one of the few sets of spikes that you can't just pogo off. I'm not exactly sure, like, why? Because it doesn't feel like there's much to distinguish them from things that you can pogo off. Well, I get why from a gameplay perspective. They want some things that you can't just cheese your way through, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more to convey why you can't pogo on them. Right, I am sure there's a Fool Eater over here somewhere. I distinctly remember always getting hit by one in this room. Or it might be one of the other vertical rooms, actually. Ow. Ow, goddammit. Oh, hello. Okay, you're going down there. Fine by me. Ah, poo. Sometimes, no matter how often you play a game, you just end up sucking at it. Okay, there is a random toll gate here for some reason. Gotta pay 50 geo to proceed. Yeah, would you look at that? I'm making good progress. Nice. Yeah, I don't want to deal with you. Just jumping up to you every time and falling down will be so annoying. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Yeah, thought that was a hidden wall. There we go. Well, the wall wasn't hidden, but the room is. I guess technically this is a hidden wall, because it's a wall inside a hidden room. Yeah, I think I want to go this way. Do I? No, that is not the way. I believe that just connects up to where Hornet went earlier. I'll go there a little bit later. Ow. Thought I could get a second hit in there. Didn't quite time it right. Okay, if I remember correctly, there is... Yeah, I see a butterfly. There's some lifeblood somewhere here. The greater mind once dreamed of leaf and cast these caverns so. In every bush and every vine, the mind of Un reveals itself to us. Who is Un? Anyway, there's a hidden room here with some lifeblood in it. I would love some lifeblood, thank you very much. Because, spoiler alert, there is a fight coming up. I believe this guy might actually play the more aggressive version of Greenpath's music. Hold on. I love the more intense version of Greenpath's main theme. I think it complements the calmer version so well. It's one of the best examples of the dynamic music in this game. That guy was a Moss Knight. He is not a boss. He is technically a regular enemy. But I would say he's the first really difficult enemy of the game. He can dodge out of the way. He can block attacks. He didn't do it in that fight, but he can actually swing upwards and hit you if you're trying to pogo him. So he just really counters a lot of the skills that players develop in the early game and forces you to be a little bit more on your toes. You can't just pogo him to win. I used to hate the Moss Knights on my first playthrough, but I now recognise that they are an important part of the game. They train you for some of the later bosses. They have their purpose. Anyway, the green is starting to fade from Greenpath here. What I do quite enjoy about this game is that the areas do sort of bleed into one another. As you're approaching the entrance to another area, you will start to see things that look like they're from that area, and they will combine with the area you're currently in. So in this room, for example, we get this nice transition between the blue and the green, and I think that's a really nice effect. Right, I'd like to go this way quickly. There is something over here, but I can't remember exactly if I can do it now, but I might as well check. So this is technically a new area. I'm not going to introduce this area properly because we're not really going to see it properly now. We're just going to see this tiny little section of it. It's going to be a long time before we see this area proper. Okay, it's starting to look like I can't actually do anything here right now. I think I can just get some money. Okay. I think I need to come back with the next upgrade. Yeah, I definitely do. Ow. Right, that's safe to fall. Lovely. Right, let's go find Hornet. I want to know when Silksong is coming out. God, you're persistent. Hello. You followed me basically all the way through the room. What on earth is going on here? This has nothing to do with me. I'll leave him be. I'm sure he's fine. No, I'll go and save him. I'll go and be a good person. So this is our second, I would say, mini-boss of the game. This is the Vengefly King. He is easy. He is the easiest fight in the game. He literally has this one attack. That is all he does. I mean, he can summon smaller Vengeflies as well, but they die in like 2 hits. They don't really mean anything. And he's not even doing it. I think I can just, like, if I time it right, spam him with spells as well. There we go. Look at that. Super easy. He doesn't even get his own boss theme. He doesn't even use the regular boss theme. Okay. This guy is, this guy is a character. Just what do you think you're doing? You dare to come between me and my prey? Is it a habit of yours to scurry about, getting in the way and causing bother? Know this, cur. I am Zote the Mighty, a knight of great renown. Cross me again, and you'll find out why they call my weapon Life Ender. So yeah, he's really grateful that we saved him. He's a lovely fellow. What are you still bothering me for? I'm a knight. I'm not interested in your childish games. I need my rest. Begone, lest I draw my nail. Alright. So, you don't have to save him. If you just leave him there and you progress through the game and then you come back, he dies. You can just find his skull and you can just sort of kick it around like a football. It's really funny. But for the purpose of this playthrough, I want to show off what he leads to, so I'm going to have to save him, even if he is a massive dick. But also the community kind of loves him, because he is a funny character, he is well written. And there's kind of like a unofficial third game that the fans want made called Zote Boat, starring a Zote. And, I mean, obviously that's never going to happen, because we're never going to get Silksong, we're not going to get a second game. But I just think it's just the whole idea of that is really funny. Okay, this room is pretty big. There's a lot of secrets to find. Ah, missed it. The green children walked from the dream unto these lands. Here now shall wait, patient for the call to return. I hear a grub. Oh, this guy has a grub prisoner. Okay. Right, I'm actually going to use spells this time, because these guys are a pain in the ass to fight. Ah, balls. What I like to do with these guys is find some high ground, because it makes it a little bit easier to try and like pogo them and not necessarily get hit when they dodge out of the way. Why do their heads look like that? They're leaves, Sam. They're leaves. What are you trying to imply? Although now that you've pointed that out, I never noticed that before. Thank you for ruining that for me, Sam. Okay, now that's going to make me look really suspect, because 2 of like my top 3 favourite games have enemies that look like a penis in them now. Thanks, Sam. Ow! You just have a dirty mind, don't we all? There's plenty of that going around. Come back here, please. I don't want to fight 2 of you at once. Get into the Shin Megami Tensei series where there's a literal penis monster. No, I don't think I will. Right, that's the first one taken care of. Hello, friend. Come over here where I killed your buddy. Oh god, these guys are annoying. Oh my god. Okay, this I might actually die here. Hold on. I need to concentrate. I need to get him over here. Come on. That's it. I think as long as I'm up here, he can't hit me. Just don't want him to wander off, though, so... Come on. Oh my god. Oh, got him. Nice. There are some enemies that I find harder than some of the bosses, and that guy is definitely one of them. I find with the bosses, they tend to have more defined patterns and they're slightly easier to read. And I think it helps that there's more of a flow to the fight with the bosses, whereas the regular enemies don't really have that. Okay, that, I believe, connects back up to where I was. Yep. Okay, I smell a Hornet. I think I'm getting close, but first, down here... First of all, there is a hidden wall. A hidden room, sorry. I have become very good at spotting these things. I see you down there, fool eater. You're not going to make a fool of me today. No. I'm going to kill you and make a fool of you. So, this is a Wanderer's Journal. These are little collectibles that aren't really tracked by the game in any way. They're basically objects that you can sell if you need money. There are loads of them scattered about the place. And I did see one of them earlier, and I forgot to mark it on my map. I think, if I remember correctly, I think it's about there. I did walk over it. I kind of mentally acknowledged it to myself, and then forgot to put a marker down. I think because I was too busy shouting at Hornet. Okay, well, let's get the stag here. I don't really want to go anywhere right now, but I would like him to come and talk to me. Because he's my only friend in this world. My, this place is much changed since I last saw it. The greenery grows so wild the stations like to be consumed by it. Eager to travel the stagways? Just hop upon that platform, give me the signal, and we'll soon be on our way. Well, unfortunately, Mr. Stag, I have a Hornet to go and find. I need to go and ask about Silksong. Come no closer, ghost. I've seen you, creeping through the undergrowth, stalking me. This old kingdom, a terrible thing awakens. I can smell it in the air. I know what you are. I know what you try to do. I can't allow it. Right, let's listen to some boss music. No! You're meant to tell me about Silk Song! Aww. I guess it's never coming out. I love Hornet. I think Hornet is the perfect second boss for this game. I think she's a really, really good step up from the False Knight. The False Knight is not really that difficult. He's just more kind of intimidating. I think a lot of the difficulty for new players comes from just how big and imposing he is. But once you kind of boil this fight down, he's quite simple. Whereas Hornet is a lot more complicated. She has a lot more moves to her. She moves around the arena quite a lot. It's also a longer fight, and she's a lot faster. It's a real challenge for new players, this fight. This is where the game... It's one of many times where the game's like, right, it's skill check time, you're going to get good, and you're going to get good now. And it's just really, really fun. It's just a fun, fast-paced fight. I enjoy fighting it every time. It's a lot easier once you've gone through some of the later bosses in the game, obviously. But I think for a new player, it really, really kind of strikes that difficulty really, really well. And it's a good first challenge for them. Plus, the music is one of my favourite boss themes in this game. I'm a sucker for a violin. And the violin goes hard in this one. Oh, it's just so good. It's so elegant. But also kind of fierce. And I think that fits Hornet really, really, really well. I think it's a fantastic boss theme. Anyway, as is the deal in these sorts of games, you beat a boss, you get an upgrade. This is the Mothwing Cloak. Not the most important upgrade in this game, but it's definitely one of them. Press ZR to dash forwards. Use the cloak to dash quickly along the ground or through the air. So, the Mothwing Cloak is where I can start to really explain how Hollow Knight differs from other Metroidvanias. Metroidvanias have a bit of a formula. You go through the game, you find a lot of paths that you can't go down, you beat a boss or you find a location, and then you get an upgrade. Then you go back to all of those places that you found. Most of them aren't the way forward. They're just extra items and stuff to pick up, which is fine. And then one of them is the way forward. And that's most Metroidvanias follow that formula. It's always that one route you've got to find. Which is kind of part of what puts a lot of people off the genre, I think, because they end up just wandering around and not finding that one route forward. But with Hollow Knight, I'm going to blow your mind here. There are 2 ways forward. From this point on, there are 2 paths toward the next area. One of them is here in Greenpath, so for the people who get the new upgrade and just want to keep pressing forward, they can just keep pressing on through this area and go that way. One of them is back in the Forgotten Crossroads. So for the kind of player that does like to experiment with their new abilities, go backwards and see where they can use it, they will also find a path forward. And I think that's really, really clever design. I think Team Cherry have done a really, really good job of just putting this whole world together and putting lots of different paths through it. And it's going to get even more extreme than that. The Mothwing Cloak is just kind of the introduction to that idea. Plus, it's kind of just a fun ability. Oh. Would it seek to break the seals? They cannot be undone. They must be undone. Let us sleep, little shadow. Return to your darkness. Allow us our peace. Was that my punishment for asking about Silksong too much? Anyway, the Mothwing Cloak is just a lot of fun. I always feel naked without it. It and, I would say, the next ability are the 2 abilities that I really miss when I start the game again. And then there's Metroid 1, where there's less of a path forward and more than just 2 places to get to the end of the game. Yeah, with Metroid 1, I feel like that's kind of the beginnings of the genre. They haven't really sort of defined that formula yet. It's really Super Metroid and a little bit of Metroid 2 where that really starts to sink into place. But then most of the games after do tend to just follow that formula. Okay, let's head over this way. Welcome to the Lake of Un. A very, interestingly pretty area. This Moss Knight is just stood, contemplating the world. You can attack him and fight him. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave him to it. Metroid 1 has such wonderful places in its map, such as pointless waste of time in a crate. See, Hollow Knight does have parts of the map that are, like, pointless. There's nothing there to collect or do. But you'll usually find an NPC or a bit of lore in those places. Anyway, look who it is. It's our good pal Quirrell. Oh, hello there. Seems we both tread far from the path. I can hardly believe those dusty old highways led to such a lush and lively place. This building suggests some form of worship, though. Its idol has clearly been long forgotten. Doubles equally well for a moment's respite. Hey, Dan, welcome to the stream. Thank you for your lurk. I hope you enjoy whatever it is that you're up to. Right, okay, before I press forward, now that I have the Mothwing Cloak, there are quite a few areas in Greenpath I'd like to go back to, because there's a few things that I can collect now. I don't want to go back to the Crossroads just yet. I'm going to be going back there later for another reason, so I feel like I might as well save my revisit till then. Because I always just do tend to take the Greenpath route forward to the next area. It just kind of flows a little bit better that way for me. Right, let's climb out of this arena. So, which way do I want to go from here? I think it would be interesting to go down from here and just show that path off, but I think I'll have an opportunity to do that for something later on. I think I'd like to go back to that other area that I briefly went into. I'm pretty sure I can do at least something there now. What I do like about the dash is it just makes exploring a little bit faster as well. Like on these straight flat sections, you can just spam it a little bit. You can only use it one time in the air though. That's pretty important to remember because it's going to come up a lot in some of this game's platforming sections. Because while this game doesn't have a massive focus on difficult platforming, there are bits and pieces of it. Oh, poo. Right, let me just kill you so I don't get distracted by you. Ah! I did not see you there. Okay, what is going on with me today? Come on, Ben. Kick your brain into gear, please. Rightio, there was somewhere up here that I needed to use the dash. Here it is. Nice. Oh. There was only one Geo in that chest. What the hell? Surely there's got to be more in there. Oh, dear. Yeah, there are two Balders here. This bit is a little bit tricky. Oh, God. Oh, poop. There we go. There's my first death. So, when you die, your vessel cracks, you lose all of your Geo, and something comes out of you. Now, what your vessel cracking means is that you can hold slightly less soul until you repair it. Thankfully, though, your Geo isn't completely gone. There is a way to get it back. we're just going to have a little bit of a fight for it. Whatever you do, though, don't die while your vessel is cracked. Because if you do, you will lose all of the geo. It will be gone. You can't get it back after that point. And seeing as we need a lot of geo to get the lantern, that's not ideal. We don't really want that to happen. I just want to build up my soul a little bit against these guys. Alright, I'm really, really hoping they don't screw me over with how they do this. I forgot that the spikes could kill enemies. Okay, there you are. You're not going to screw me over. So yeah, when you die, you spawn a shade. He can attack you. So yeah, there's a little bit of risk to getting your stuff back. He's not like a difficult enemy at all, but he definitely puts up a little bit of a fight. He also gets stronger as you do. So as you learn new moves, he learns to do them. And as you gain more health, so does he. Right, I'm going to stand near you and shut you off. And just kill this other one first. That's really the best way to handle this, I feel. Oh, poop. Right. I've killed that one. That's the one that you really need to kill. Because then you can actually come and get your reward. Which is another charm. Another charm. The Boulder Shell. That's alright, Sam. See you in a moment. So the Boulder Shell is kind of like a defensive charm. Basically, whenever you heal, it will create a little shield around you that you can use to protect yourself. Honestly, I don't think it's that good. Enemies can break through the shield pretty easily. And every time I've tried to use it, it's just not been very effective. I'll show it off. I'll try and show how to use it, but I just don't particularly jive with that one very well. Your Twitch was lagging when I died. Was it on purpose? No, that was a legit death. That was not on purpose. Hey, Googs, how's it going? It is evening here. It's going very well, thank you. Ah! Little bastard. Right, I need to heal myself. Oh, damn it. He sealed himself. Right, I need to go and heal quickly. Oh my god. I don't remember struggling this much with these guys. I'm going to blame this on the recording curse. I'm usually fine with these guys. Oh my god. Doing pretty good there as well. Had a good celebration, and you're now home watching Eurovision. Nice. I decided not to watch Eurovision this year. I only really tend to watch it as like a group thing with friends, just for a bit of fun and some drinks. And the friends that I usually watch it with are busy this year, so I decided I wasn't going to bother. Hopefully you're enjoying it, though. Hopefully there are some good songs. I'll tell you what I did watch, though. I watched the Doctor Who parody of Eurovision this morning. It was actually surprisingly good. I was expecting to hate it, because I thought it was just going to be really cheesy, but it was actually quite entertaining. Right, let's make my way down to a bench then, so I can show off this charm. And then there's another one I want to pick up. I've just got to remember where it is. I know it's somewhere here in Greenpath. And I vaguely know where I need to go. You can mind your own business. I don't want to fight you. Let's just quickly make my way down here. Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. Right, I'd like to pass through this room now. It's finally time for this one. It's Norway's National Day today. Ah, nice one. I hope you had a fantastic day then. I saw you there, Fool Eater. You ain't fooling me. I am no fool. Okay, I thought that was a secret. It's not. It's just nothing. Brilliant. Was out with the fam all day. Nice. That's a good way to spend a day. Yes, down here is where I want to go. Okay. Apparently I'd already hit you. Okay. Didn't realise that. Okay, so I avoided the actual attack, and then it recoiling itself out of the ground is what hit me. Brilliant. Absolutely bloody brilliant. Right. I'm looking for a pathway on the right here. And I think this is it, yeah. Here we go. So we have a little bit of a platforming / timing challenge here. And it's basically here to test you on how to use the Mothwing Cloak. It's not too difficult, but if you're not careful, it can be easy to take a few hits. Thankfully, careful is my middle name. And for clearing it, you receive a charm, the Thorns of Agony. This is sort of another defensive charm, though it's one that I like a lot more than Boulder's Shell. Basically, whenever you get hit, a load of thorns will shoot out of you and damage enemies around you. And seeing as I do tend to just take a lot of stray hits, I like using this one, especially during the early game, a fair bit. It's not one that I tend to run in the late game, just because a lot of late game bosses aren't really likely to get hit by it. But here in the early game, it can really help out. Any extra damage is a good thing, I say. Right, so that's brought me here. There is a little bit of a connection between those two rooms there, around here, that I'm missing, but I don't recall there actually being anything important there. I think that's just a connection that they made so that if you manage to pull off a quite difficult skip over here up to where Hornet was, you can cut out most of the area. There's a couple of ways to do that. You can make use of the tiny bit of knockback you get off Vengeful Spirit, or you can lure one of the enemies up and pogo up. I have done it a few times, but it's quite a tricky skip to do. It's not one that I'm particularly good at. Oh, hello. Yeah, down there. I thought I saw a Wanderer's Journal. I might be able to get that now, actually. Or I can fall in the... or I can fall in the acid. Okay, no, I definitely can't get that now. There's not enough time to actually do the dash there. Worth the try, though. Okay, right. I think I'm basically just about done with Greenpath. I think I should start heading towards my way out, which is down here. There's also a bench down here, so I can put those new charms on. Yeah, so I think I'm going to take these off. I'm going to go Boulder Shell and Thorns of Agony. And I can hopefully show off why Thorns of Agony is great for a new player, and why Boulder Shell is just kind of super underwhelming and not at all that useful. Now, the worst bit about Boulder Shell is it's only while you're healing. So, really using it, I find, just encourages bad habits. It encourages you to heal when you shouldn't be. Healing is all about finding the right window to heal, especially during boss fights. And bosses do have moments designed into them for you to do so. I have seen a lot of people complain that it's like impossible to heal during fights. And I'm always like, no, you're just trying it at the wrong time. You need to pay attention. Can I do what's this way yet? No, I definitely can't. I know what this is. This is a sub-area, I believe, and I don't want to go do that just yet. What I want to do is go over here. Because there's another mini-boss in this area. Meet everyone's favourite boss to meme on, the massive Moss Charger. Yeah, this guy is not a fight. Like, this guy is really, really easy. Once you've got a few damage and range upgrades on your nail and a few really cool charms, you can basically just sit there and spam, and you will repeatedly knock him back. It's not quite as easy to do during the early game, but as you saw, I did it a few times there and got a few hits in. Okay, he shouldn't take too many more hits. There we go, got him. Nice. He's a fine little mini-boss. Not every boss needs to be massively intricate and difficult. He's just here as a slight little challenge to prevent you from getting what's beyond here. He does his job well. Speaking of, though, there is something up there. Okay, you're annoying because you're placed at just the right position where I can't just stand here and easily angle your shot back at you. You're not, though. You're easy to kill. Yep, knew there was another one of you. Ow. Okay, so the Thorns of Agony aren't really useful against these guys. Right, I would like to go this way. So, this room is a fairly tricky challenge, made a lot easier by an upgrade that you will get later on. However, if you have mastered the ability to pogo, you can do this area now. I have done this now a few times, and despite my instincts telling me that this is going to go really badly because I'm recording, despite my better judgment, I would like to attempt it now. Basically, you just need to chain pogos together, and doing that consistently can be quite tricky, especially if you're a new player. There's a lot of geo in this first chest, and I like my money. And then up there, as you can see, there's a poor little grub. And how can I leave him behind? I can't do that. I'm not a monster. Now, there is more to this, but that is all that I can do for now. I need more upgrades if I'm going to get up that wall. Now, the tricky bit is now getting back without dying. I've just proven that I can do it, so it should be fine. But I feel like this is always where I screw it up. I get over there okay, and then when I'm trying to come back, I get a little bit too overconfident, and then I fall in the acid and die. And then I do that a bunch of times, and waste all of my health, and then I have to come back and get my shade. And it's quite embarrassing for everyone involved. Oh my god. Yeah, that sort of thing happens. Now, where I also tend to die a lot is if I'm coming back from here and then coming through this room with less health than I would usually have. Sometimes I get hit a lot by these flowers, and it can spell disaster. Just gotta take my time. Be careful. There we go, nice. Okay, let's push forward then. Welcome to not the third main area of Hollow Knight, but a future main area that we're going to be cutting through early. This is the Fog Canyon. So, you know how in Super Metroid, while you're passing through Brinstar, you technically very quickly pass through Meridia? This is kind of like that, except if it was a lot longer, and they actually made you go through part of Meridia. I kind of just, like, love the idea of going through an area from later in the game early. And this area can be quite scary. The enemies here are tricky to deal with, is how I would describe them. The little ones are fine, but these big guys, you hit them, and they come back! And they explode, and they do double damage, and I have died to these guys so many times. Have you ever played the board game Operation, where you've got to, like, very, very carefully get the tweezers and put them into the hole and get a bone out? And if you ever so slightly touch the sides, it goes off. Going through this area feels like playing that game. And while I hate going through here, I also kind of love it. What's also quite fun about Hollow Knight is that it does pay homage to both Metroid and Castlevania in a tiny little way. And these guys are its homage to Metroid. Because Metroid's a jellyfish, these guys are jellyfish. I would say the Castlevania homage is a lot more in-depth. But this is a nice little reference, and I find it cute. Now, the best way to deal with these guys is to get above them and knock them down into the acid, because that will stop them coming back. They're obviously Komatos. No, that game has nothing to do with Metroid. They even say so in the game itself. That's not anything I can do yet, okay. There is something I can do here. I think I can do it now. And I feel like I might have gone past it. Hold on. I think it was back in that other room. I think it was on the left. And it's something I would like to try and get now, if I can. Yeah, here we go. Okay, another slight platforming challenge here. Got to be quite fast there. Okay, I want to go up there, I believe. Yes, I do, because there's lifeblood here, and I would love some lifeblood right now. And then there's a Hallownest seal, so that is like a Wanderer's Journal. It's the same idea, it's just worth more money. Ooh. Okay, I've made it through, just about. Now, this area looks a lot like Greenpath, doesn't it? But, would you look at that? They fly now. They also take a lot more hits. So there's not really much I can do here now. I can't go this way because there's a gate. And then this way, there is a weird, shadowy beam of death. Well, it's not really of death because it doesn't hurt you. But, yeah, when I first found this, I was like, what the hell is that? It feels a little out of place, but, like, in an intentional way. Like, it's meant to be kind of weird and creepy and, like, ugh. Right, okay, I think what I wanted to do is up there. So I don't think I can actually do it now, so there wasn't really much point in me coming this way. Right, let's just thread the needle through this area. Are you the room that I want? No, we've been there. I've already worked out that I can't do anything there. Can I hear a grub? No, I think I'm imagining that. I don't think I can. Right, through here, there is something signposted. Hello there, dearie. I was about to close up shop and run till you came along. I provide a banking service if you're interested. Losing one's geo is a terrible thing, and it's so much more likely if you carry it about on yourself. My vault is much more secure. In all my time as a banker, I've never lost a single geo. Maybe you'd consider opening an account. Ugh. A banker? Ugh. I will be doing this, though. Because, yes, any geo with her is perfectly safe. You won't lose it if you die. You're a smart one. Next time some dreadful beastie gets the best of you, you'll be glad to know your geo's safe within my shell, my vault. Now, let's do some banking. Right, I'm going to deposit... I'm going to put in 500 for now. Goodbye then, stay safe. Welcome back, Sam. Did you miss much? What you missed... when did you say BRB? What were we doing then? Let me just scroll up through chat. Ooh. Where's my scroll bar? There it is. Why is my scroll bar disappearing? What? OBS, that's not... Oh, okay, it was fighting the rolly enemies, right. Yeah, you've missed... Metroids. Would you look at that? It's a Metroid. It's a cute little reference. But they're not called Metroids, but, you know, they're basically Metroids. They explode rather than sucking you, though. Welcome to the Queen's Station. This isn't a full area, this is a sub-area. But this is basically a massive stag station. So down on, yeah, this level is the actual main station itself. Wait, no it isn't. Hello, I remember you. Oh, come in search of treats, have you? I chanced upon a unique little fungus growing right above us. I found it only in this station, and the taste is just divine. Okay. This place must once have been quite the hub, built at the border between two lands. That misty drop to one side and those bulbous growths another. Neither place seems particularly welcoming, so while my little treats last, I think I'll stay here. Alright, Willow, it was nice chatting. You seem, relatively normal. Right, let's pay the toll, and let's see the last stag another time. You've opened several stag stations now, haven't you? I'm thankful for the opportunity to once more travel through the kingdom. As I visit more places, I feel my memories returning to me, like the stagways of my mind are running once more. Continue to open the stations and you'll have my deepest gratitude. Right, I'm not going to go anywhere just yet. Ah, this gladdens me. The Queen's Station has opened once more. This place was a bustling hub of travel, well placed for travellers visiting the outer edges of the land. You're quite the explorer to find this place. Ah, well thank you very much, thank you very much. Just going to quickly see if there's anything I can actually do here right now. I'm thinking probably no. Yeah, I can't do that. Which means I can't do that. Does Quirrell spawn here? I could have sworn he did. Maybe I'm thinking of somewhere else. I think I might be thinking of somewhere else. Okay. Right. I would like to go back to Dirtmouth. I have a lot more geo now. Not quite enough for the lantern, but there are a few things that I'd like to buy. Up we go. Let's head over to Sly's shop then. See what he's selling. Right, there's not really much point in buying a mass shard or a vessel fragment until you're one away. It's basically just a waste of geo before that. What I would like to buy, though, is Gathering Swarm. This is one of my favourite charms. This is a really good one. And then Stalwart Shell is... Oh, okay, so basically this one gives you more immunity after you get hit. I think it's okay for new players. I think it can build some bad habits, though. I don't really tend to like using that one that much. I'll put it on, though, just to say that I've shown it. And it's probably better than Boulder's Shell. But Gathering Swarm, though, is one of my favourites. I'm going to go find an enemy and just show you what it does. Oh, hello. You there. Why are you skulking about in the shadows? Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. I am Zote the Mighty, a knight of great renown. Tremble before me. While you are hiding here in your dingy little village, I ventured into the dark pit below and slew a great beast. It had sharp mandibles and atrocious manners. Yes, all glory to me, but I don't have time for your adulation. I must rest and prepare for my next journey down. Okay, fuck you, Zote. There's also another guy here. This is Tiso. He is actually a character created by the backers of this game. There's a few of these throughout the game, and every single one of them tells you who made them, which is really, really nice. I like seeing those credits throughout the game and just immediately knowing who I have to thank for this person and who I have to thank for this game getting made. Pale thing, you wear that nail with ease. If you're in search of combats, you'll find no great warriors in this decaying burrow. I've heard an arena exists somewhere below, one built for our like. Meet me there and we'll test what skills you possess. I'll be heading down soon. Come and find me if you dare. Well, I do want to quickly head down, because I'd like to show off Gathering Swarm. So, if I kill you, and then I don't collect the Geo, my little guys will do it for me. I love Gathering Swarm. It's great. It's one of the best charms in the game. Right, I have a little bit of money to spare, so I might buy myself some more map pins. Bapanada. Yeah, I'm going to get the red ones. Then I'm going to mark benches on my map. And I think I'm going to mark stag stations as well, because those are the two that I really need to know about, even though I know where most of them are. And then I shall be heading back to the Queen's Station. Right, I have a decision to make now. I was hoping to get through the first 3 areas today, and I've done the first 2. I think the reason for that is just because I've spent a lot of time talking and explaining things and stopping for music, and I didn't really account for that slowing me down when I very, very, very roughly planned this out. Like I said, there's not really a proper plan for this, but I had a little bit of a rough idea about how much I wanted to get done each stream. So, the decision is, do I press on and do 3 areas like I originally planned and have a slightly longer stream? Or do I just say that 2 areas a stream is pretty good pacing and call it slightly early? Because really, I only have about 15 minutes left of my regular stream time. So I think I'm leaning towards calling it ever so slightly early. Because my throat's getting a little sore. I don't know that I want to do a full other hour of stream, and I might need that for the next area. So it might make more sense to just wait until next time. Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of talking myself out of carrying on today, so I think that is where I'm going to end it today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this first of many looks at Hollow Knight. One of my favourite games of all time. It's going to be a long journey. There's a lot still left to do. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of exciting, pretty places to show off. But next time, we will be venturing out of Queen's Station into the next area, continuing our search for the city that I would say we've heard so much about, but we've heard about it once. Right then, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I will be back on Wednesday with some more Hollow Knight. Right. I'm feeling pretty lively. I'm feeling like today would be a good time for a raid, and it just so happens that Ami is live, and I really, really haven't been over to Ami's stream enough recently, so I want to go and say hi. She's always usually streaming way too late for me, so I'm going to take advantage of the fact that she is actually streaming at a reasonable time for us here in the UK. Okay then, have a good one, guys, and I will see you later. Bye!